All right, guys, here we are. We are out on Kentucky Lake. You can see that right here behind me, it's sunny Bluebird Day. This is one of the first, we've had some warm weather, but we've had a few of those weird fronts that come through in March, the later part of March, a lot of times this time of year. Had some really cold nights, water temperatures, you know, coming up, creeping up, and then all of a sudden it gets back down. But a lot of changes. This is springtime. Fish are on the move. A lot of changes weather-wise. And just wanted to hop on here and kind of let you know what all's going on out here and my plans for the next several months. You know, I'll do the same thing that I always do. I know a lot of you have reached out wondering if I was going to do my reports again. I appreciate all you guys that follow along, and you guys that have already fished with me and that plan to fish this year here on Kentucky Lake. I'm looking forward to having you, and just give you kind of a rundown on what's going on out here. So right now, the water levels they typically don't start coming up until about April 1st. They'll start bringing it up closer to summer pool. Now, it's come up right now. I'm looking at like 357, so it's actually a few feet above winter pool right now. We're going into the last week of March here. Easter's just right around the corner, and so it's kind of normal. Water temperatures are somewhere around that 60-degree mark. I mean, it depends on where you're at on the lake. I'm sure if you go way backs in the creeks, a lot of that water temperature back there is, it wouldn't surprise me what there's some mid-60, but it's average on the lake is probably that 58 to 60 mark right now. Water clarity is really good. I mean, it's actually almost too clean. I know that sounds crazy, but for you guys that like to power fish in the spring of the year, me included, I love to throw like a lipless or a chatterbait or something like that up shallow for those largemouth, and even catch some smallmouth up into the creeks as well. But it does something for my confidence whenever I go back in these creeks and I see the water almost gin clear. I'm sure there's some dirty water in other areas on the lake. I'm up here on the north end, and I've just not found too much dirty water. We actually had some rains recently, but you know, it's I don't know, it's kind of strange. It's like it's filtered through here quick, and water is wish it had a little more stain to it in the creeks anyway. For the smallmouth, you know, out on the main lake, some of the bars that have wood on it, structure, even on this east side of the lake. I'm actually out on the east side today. Wind's blowing out of the east today, and I come over here to get out of the wind a little bit, but for the most part, it's really clean all the way down the river system here. Like I say, there's probably some dirty water somewhere back in a creek somewhere where it's flowed in, but water clarity is good. It's clear, and it's kind of made the fishing a little bit on the tough side, to be honest with you. I mean, normally when that water's got some color to it, you can get in the creeks, especially on that west side of the lake, and you know, power fish. You can throw a lipless. I like to throw. This is, you know, one of my favorite baits to throw this time of year is a lipless. This is the Duke from 6 Cents Fishing in Brown Eye. You know, any of the orange colors, the crawdad colors this time of year, everybody thinks cold water, but these fish are not as far along as I think most people think they are. I've even had a hard time kind of figuring out exactly what stage they're in. I know that there's some largemouth that are moving up. Smallmouth, there's some smallmouth spawning right now, I'm sure of it. But if you just want to come here in the spring of the year, everybody starts thinking power fishing. And the lipless crankbait, this is the Duke. I've caught a handful of fish on this bait right here. Take those windy days and take advantage of it. You know, everybody talks about the wind in March and April on Kentucky Lake, but don't be afraid to take advantage of that wind. Put that wind at your back and just go cover water. And a lot of times, even if you get those cloudy, overcast days, even with this cleaner water, you can still catch them power fishing on a lipless like that. Another bait that I throw a lot this time of year is just like a little flat side crankbait. There's a lot of good ones out there. This one right here is the Flat Finesse 4, the F4 from 6 Cents Fishing. I think that's like a mud bug color. That you can see, if you look real close there, you can see it's kind of like a translucent see-through color. That's a good little color when it comes to cleaner water. Now, typically in the spring of the year, I'll be throwing some sort of red, chartreuse, things like that. But if the water's a little bit cleaner, those more translucent colors seem to be a little bit better. But on those, like I say, on those cloudy, overcast days, you take advantage of those days, and you can put your reds in your hand and just go cover water. Water clarity and a lot of sunny bluebird days, I'm still throwing a jerkbait a good bit. This is the Provoke from 6 cents. This is the 106. I also throw the smaller version, which is the 97. And keep in mind, we've got the deep diver, and then we've got the regular lip as well. But you know, these sunny bluebird days, I like to throw something kind of like that, that's got like the chrome sides on it, like a shad color back. But you get on 6 Cents website and you can see there's so many different colors to choose from. Any of those shad colors, you know, if it's cloudy overcast, I'll throw something with like more of a chartreuse hue to it, like the Jank Juice or something like that. But a jerkbait is one of those baits this time of year that a lot of people forget. They think cold water and they lay it down when the water temperature hits 60 degrees. And honestly, you can still catch a good many of fish on a jerkbait this time of year around gravel washes, transition banks, things like that. But fish are kind of setting up on that kind of stuff right now. It seems like TVA's been pulling some current through the system, so they're getting around the gravel washes, the gravel points, things like that, especially on this LBL side, the east side of the lake, as well as the west side of the lake. Especially when they're moving that water, you know, those fish will kind of they'll tuck up close to those points, get out of that current, and catch them on that jerkbait and catch them on a Ned rig. I've caught a handful of fish on a Ned rig. The Ned rig is one of those deals. It's a wintertime bait. And then when those fish start to transition and get up more on the pea gravel points and start spawning, you'll start catching more. And what's going to happen is, as we go on here in the next few weeks, things are starting to warm up. I think all the cold weather's pretty well behind us for the year, and those fish are going to start getting up onto that stuff, the gravel points, the rock transition banks, the smallmouth, largemouth both. The largemouth will typically wait till that water comes on up, and then they'll get on up spawning. And then the smallmouth, you know, there's so many smallmouth in this system right now that they're kind of a little bit everywhere right now. You may take a cloudy overcast day and go wind a crankbait around the bank in a creek thinking you're going to catch largemouth, and you'll catch smallmouth. And then in the same, you know, out on the main lake, a lot of times when you think you're going to catch smallmouth, you're smallmouth fishing, you'll catch those largemouth. So there's a lot of these in the lake right now, which is very encouraging. Some good fish in the lake. Every year's gotten better and better. It was very encouraging seeing the last couple of years fish starting to school up offshore in the summer months. So the lake is in great shape. I'm really looking forward to the next few years and see what we've got in store. But I think it's going to be a good year. For you scoping guys, you know, the minnow, this little bait right here, this is the Shindo. It's no secret if you've kept up with 6 Cents fishing, you know, they're killing it in the industry. They're coming out with new baits all the time. This is the new 5-inch right here. Actually, the 6-inch was released, I believe, and then the 5 and the 7 came later. This is more of just a typical shad size here, right here. I think that's 4K gizzard. Cool little bait right there on a little tungsten jig head. But if you want to come out here and just, you know, throw it structure, look for smallmouth, spawning smallmouth, you can catch them on the minnow. I personally, when I've got clients in the boat especially, I don't do too much of the forward facing stuff unless I get a guy that that's what he wants to go do and learn it. But and if you followed along the last few years, this little bait right here, the 3.2, 3.8, 6 Cents Divine swim bait, that's on a little 5/16 ounce jig head. You can take that bait when they won't bite anything else and just take that and cover water, go down the banks, just get on the LBL side and just start covering water, especially if you get the cloudy overcast days. These high bright days are, you know, the high pressure days, it's a whole lot tougher. The bite seems to be a whole lot tougher, but things are changing every day right now. Fish are starting to move up, they're starting to get shallow. I've spent a good bit of time up shallow looking for that largemouth deal. The water is, like I say, it's so clean up there that it does something to my confidence, and I don't really like that clean water when I'm fishing like that, but still the fish are still going to get up there, and just, you might have to pick your days whenever you decide that you want to go up power fishing. You know, you might have to pick a cloudy overcast day and then run up there and fish some of that stuff. But for the most part, these sunny bluebird days, I think a guy right now is better off to fish for smallmouth, and you know, you'll catch those occasional largemouth too. But we talked about water clarity, we talked about water levels. Overall fishing, like I say, has been pretty decent. I mean, we're we're probably 1 to 2 weeks away from it busting wide open. And what I mean is the largemouth are really going to make a big push shallow, and then those smallmouth will really get fired up and start spawning. And when they spawn, you can catch them around all the gravel turns. You can catch them out on the main lake, on the bars, on stumps. And then after the smallmouth get done spawning, that's when it really gets fun. Kind of that mid to late April time frame there. That's when it really gets fun. But that's pretty much it out here on the lake. I really think that we're going to have a great year. I'm looking forward to you guys coming and fishing with me. If you're in the area, stop by Sonar Solutions there in Draftonville, right outside of Draftonville there. And we're doing all electronics installs, trolling motors, you name it, everything, anything boat related. We're doing it right there at the shop. Lowrance, Humminbird, Minn Kota, Garmin, all the above. Battery swap outs. We do a little bit of everything there at the shop. Come by and see us. Everything that I've talked about here too, you can get on 6 Senses website, and you can use a code at checkout. It's BH Fishing 10. That'll save you a little bit of money. But if you're local to the area, Kentucky Lake Outdoors has a brand new store. If you've not been in and you're coming this way, be sure and check them out right off of Highway 68. They're right next to High Tech Marine right there on 68. Right before you get to Moore's. Those guys have a huge selection of 6 Sense fishing stuff and getting more stuff in all the time. Ethan and those guys out there, Ron Lappin, a good friend of mine, works in there in the shop. Those guys can get you fixed up. Anything that I've talked about, or if you need anything fishing related when it comes to a tackle shop, they've got about the best one around. But be sure and stop in, see those guys, tell them Brandon sent you. And looking forward to a great year, and I will see you guys on the water.